Welcome, everyone.
Hello, sunny in California.
Hey, Inga, welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, Mohammed, welcome. All
Hi,
right,
Daniela.
so I would like to welcome Inga and Mohammed to Around's virtual stage. Inga is CEO and co-founder of Tvori, and I'm really excited to have her here today, talking around VR workflows. So without any further ado, I leave it to you and Mo to like, blow our brains. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Daniela, for hosting us today and for this invitation. Mo, I think you have an inverse background, but I love that it's Shape 6R on the backstage. I mean, just a very kind of quick introduction. So I'm Inga, CEO and co-founder of Tvori, and Mohammad is a design lead. And we will also be joined by Victor, co-founder of Tvori in VR. And I hope that we will not kind of spend too much time on the slides, but we still want to show you some, to give you some sort of background and introduction to what we are doing and why we've built Shape 6R and what is the bridge between Tvori. And then we immediately jump in, in this live demo. So, but if you don't mind, I start with this deck to give you a quick overview of, let's say, what's happening. So Shape 6R is a product of Tvori, and you know that together with Gravity Sketch, we are celebrating 3D accessible creation for quite some years. But while building Tvori, we've been missing our own collaborative platform so that any team member could contribute to the future product being developed. And we, as a team, we have realized that we really want to focus on 3D content creation explicitly for VR and AR. So you can definitely use it beyond for traditional 3D outputs, but let's say our mission is to enable creation for XR. And just because, I mean, it's probably even harder than for traditional 3D because it's a completely new way of getting this 3D, right? So it's completely new media, we are fully immersed, and the 3D content itself should be different too. But just want to make sure that people and fans of Tvori that our DNA is the same, and we are still so much about prototyping and showing your creations in motion, in how it functions, and telling the story behind your creation. But just some other ways compared to real-time animation and keyframe animation that we had in Tvori. So this particular type of 3D content has additional properties that is very unique for immersive type of content. So, I mean, this content should be, as I said, feels and looks like being spatial around you. So it really has to be clear why I'm getting this content in VR or in AR glasses. I mean, we expect that content for XR is interactive, is highly kind of giving us feedback on the way while we are using it, and it has to be very, very customizable and personalized. And we don't think that there is any better way to really discover your VR and AR ideas and start building for XR unless you're doing this inside virtual reality. Because all those aspects of being immersed, having the right distance, depth, and space around you is vitally important. But I think that Mo will agree with me that the problems that we see in 3D content creation for XR are also very similar to traditional 3D content creation, right? So it's more or less the same. It's like we are building 3D on a flat 2D screen. Most of XR teams today are just Unity developers. And probably this also slows down the adoption of this domain just because, I mean, it's not that friendly for designers without deep 3D knowledge. And it's very hard to pitch any 3D design on a flat screen, but it's becoming even bigger problem if you're trying to pitch 3D for your immersive app on a flat screen. So Mo, do you agree with that? Do you have anything to add here?
Absolutely. Nothing major to add, but definitely when it comes to 3D, it seems that traditionally we've been jumping between 2D and 3D, designing in 3D applications such as Blender, but at the end of the day, you're rendering it or you're pitching your designs through a flat medium like displays and monitors. So it's still the same problem, not necessarily for XR creation, but also, as you said, for 3D in general.
For 3D in general, yeah. So, and that's why probably you've listened to that from previous speakers, but as a VR tool maker, like Gravity Sketch, we think that there are some, let's say, specific domains when it does make sense to build your 3D content inside virtual reality. So first of all, if you're a 2D artist, you are a project manager, but you still want to contribute to your project, so it's very easy to learn. I mean, it's really learn by doing, rather than kind of first you study the menus, you study all the technical stuff around it, and then you start creating. So you actually create and then learn. And it also allows you to create at human scale. It's very important for XR, but it's also important for real world products, right? And I mean, our real world is 3D, it's not flat, and we are users, we are interacting with those objects around us. So it's important to understand the scale. And also when you are communicating and you want to communicate your ideas early to get feedback, to be very iterative on your design. It's also important to create in VR if space matters. It's clear about AR and VR apps, but space matters also if you're building different type of 3D UI for the real world. I mean, we really believe that our world will be some kind of, we will have digital twins for everything, and thus it's very important. At the early stage of design, because you can stay low poly, it's not a problem to throw away a bunch of your work, but then it allows you to be agile and to be very iterative. And then if you don't have any development expertise or like advanced 3D skills, you still can go quite advanced, and your prototype can still be very talkative and self-explanatory because you basically tell the story. I mean, you have your model that is changing its states, and then you can really explicitly explain how this is going to function or work. I mean, your app or your product, and also highlight the user experience and how the user is going to interact with your product. So our live demo, I hopefully will prove you. But again, if you are just considering start creating in VR for 3D, and I mean, or for VR and AR, it should be really the right way to start exploring 3D, because it's such a different superpower that you get being immersed in VR and building for 3D. Of course, I mean, I'm sure that Gravity Sketch emphasized that a lot, but we understand that in VR, we can't achieve the end-to-end process, and that it's important for us to integrate to existing workflows and pipelines. We also want to have this interoperability between existing in-VR tools, and we all dream about all in-VR production. So that's why we allow to import stuff. You can import your models from Gravity Sketch as OBJ, and then you tell the story around it, right? You say you are demoing different states of your product, or you consider it for different meters, and you can definitely export too. So you can export via Unity plugin. You can still use it as more like 2D references and build traditional type of slides. You can stream it via web, but it's still immersive. You can still teleport and can sample differently, especially important if you're building for VR and AR, and 3D models as well. But I promise not to kind of spend too much time on showing you the slides, because I mean, I can't explain that the pizza is delicious. And even with this live streaming via Zoom, probably I will not succeed explaining you what a blast you get being immersed and start building in 3D, but we will do our best. And at some point, stay tuned. We will invite you to join us. And as long as you own a Quest 1 or Quest 2, you can jump to the space, and we will it will be very easy to do that. So not right now, we want first to start from the demo itself, but then we will welcome you at one of the spaces. So there were special instructions, for speakers to avoid sun for your presentation on your face. But, I can't escape from that, and really sorry about that. So we start the live casting now. I hope it works just as it's supposed to be. So you can go to first, like, start the live cast and then probably share screen. Usually it's you're sharing already. Okay, so okay, and so we can see, and then once you're ready, you can make it full screen probably.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see the Oculus home, I think.
Perfect. All right. So let's jump into VR, into Shapes XR.
Yeah.
Please let me know
So-
if anything happens to the streaming and casting. Hopefully it goes as it planned, but
yeah, given that we are all in the headset, so I hope that Daniela will help us if something goes wrong. So
All is looking great right now.
perfect.
okay,
All right.
excellent.
So if you don't mind, I'll start with the first space that we prepared for the audience that we thought, okay, it's mainly around industrial design. So we prepared a few examples, a few use cases that you and your design peers could use. Let's go in and see what's Shapes XR. So to
Victor
recap,
and
hey,
myself.
hey, Victor.
So we mute ourselves in VR and then we can stay in Zoom. So hello, everybody. So Mo, could you make full screen for your live casting? I think it's not full screen.
I'm pretty sure that it's full screen, but
in Zoom,
yeah,
in your Oculus page. Okay.
It is full screen.
On the right, this circle is full screen. Okay. It appears to be bigger.
All right.
Your icon, you can activate widescreen.
Okay.
Okay, so now it's wider, but still kind of, okay, probably the previous one was, yeah, it's okay now, I think, yeah.
All right, perfect. I'll do my best to keep the UI always in center and visible to everyone. So as Inga mentioned, one of the main goals in creating Shapes XR has been to democratize 3D design for XR experiences and make it easy and accessible for everyone to jump in. This is one of the examples that we prepared. As industrial designers, you might have created your models, but that's not the end of your journey. Obviously, there are always annotation, always description and tooltips for different pieces of a design. And in VR, you can easily move around and share that with others. As you can see, there are others joining me with the same space that we could collaborate and talk about and review design that we've done. In Shapes XR, you have a feature called Stages that allows you to have some sort of a storyboard. So as you can see, I could flick through and review all other stages that we have created within this space that probably like exploring different aspects of this robotic arm, thinking about and annotating different hinges, different motion, or different limitation, the materials. As you can see,
if you don't mind, could you show your UI, because we don't see your control and menu, and given that you're live casting, probably people can only see yours. Like how you switch between stages. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So as you can see, you have the stages in a row. So you could either use your thumbstick on your left-hand controller or non-dominant controller to flick through, or you could just show the row and click through and get to them. So as you can see, it's fairly easy to invite your peers, your team members, stakeholders, and review your design. Those designs could be done in any 3D softwares and import to Shapes XR, or you could use the library of assets and primitives that are created here for you. And this space has been created just using the basic primitive and shapes, but obviously when it comes to actual, real, and complex modeling, Gravity Sketch is your best tool in VR. Let's jump to another example that we prepared for you, which is kind of a smartwatch. It's exactly the same thing. Inga and Victor will join me in a second.
I need to find the number of the space, but yeah.
I could share that for you.
No, I have it,
All right.
So I'm joining you.
Perfect, all right. As you can see, even jumping between projects and spaces, it's fairly easy. And we could go through those. If you look at Victor's avatar, you could always see a number that represents the stage number that he's looking at currently. I could flick through exactly the same approach, different stages of this design, like expanding the product, talking about different layers, different technology, different builds, and different pieces of this specific design, annotating those, having more detailed discussion, making sure our audiences are focused. So you could really create a story around your products, your designs, and make sure everyone else is following you through this storytelling, rather than just showing something in flat, rather than showing something as final. And it's really important, it's really helpful to basically show and involve people in the earlier stages. It would help with a better result and better collaboration, rather than just sending over the final results. As you can see, I could flick through, I could easily turn around the model and see that from different aspects, different scales, and talk with others. That was the second example. The third one, we're actually going to invite you to join us. So if you have a Quest 1 or Quest 2 available, get ready.
Get ready, and this is going to be very exciting to see some of you. So Mo, could you stop for a second? So once
Sure.
you download the app, you will be in the lobby like this one. Okay, so this is the QR code that you can use just with your camera, and then scan it. And then you will get a link to App Lab. So Shape6R is releasing on Quest Store next week, but it's already available on App Lab. So on App Lab, it's Shape6R space beta. I don't know, but we will be waiting for you. This is the QR code. If you couldn't scan it, you can also get the link from Daniela, or just search Shape6R on App Lab and you will get it in Google. And then while in the lobby that more like showed you, you have to give this code to join us in space. So, but that would be awesome if someone can really come and join us right now. So the code number is, so probably Mo, could you repeat it?
Sure. So the code is 8766AD. So don't be shy. Download the Shape6R app right now. Jump in. The code will be available to you. So jump, join us, and let's create something together. All right. Yeah. For this purpose, I'm going to keep this available and the number available to you. For the sake of demonstration, we decided to show you a pipeline that would probably start from Gravity Sketch. So we started from a Gravity Sketch model, we exported different layers into different objects, and now you can go through your objects and import panel, and you can see a list of objects that I have imported through the web panel. I could easily either drag and drop them into the scene or spawn them at the center of the stage. As you can see, it's loading and it's spawning. So I'm going to do so.
We can slow down for a second and just like, I want again. So there is quite an extensive library that you can use for rapid prototyping. This is not the modeling tool like Gravity Sketch. It's more like layout and storytelling. So you can really explore it, and you can reuse different like 3D models, icons, if you're prototyping interfaces, and like characters to pose, interaction of your user, getting that scale. But you can also import your own images and models with textures. So that's how we did that with this Gravity Sketch shoe example.
Exactly. And as Inga mentioned, you could also bring your objects with texture.
Oh, we have a guest here. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Immediately, so cool. That's cool.
All right. Okay, so back to import. You see your list of objects. Obviously, if it's your first time, there won't be anything. The list would be empty till you start uploading your 3D objects with textures into the dashboard. But when you import those, I'll go to the stage number 2. You could follow me by using your left hand thumbstick. And when you join, when you see the stage number 2, I see Inga is still at stage number 1. Victor is with me at stage number 2. And Frezap, if I'm pronouncing it correctly,
on the right stage.
not exactly number stage 2. And a good thing about ShapesXR is we're now here. It's not just about design review. We could just start collaborating. I could just start talking about the colors, the shapes, and stuff like that. Or I could literally copy this and give a copy to anyone. So you could come in and change that. Probably I would prefer to apply a different color to this section or another color to this section to make it a bit more vibrant. What about a bit of orange at this? It's not just about applying color. We could always use annotation and let's say, I think the curvature at the end of this shoe is not that deep. So it doesn't need that deep. It could be like this, or we could talk about different things. I could annotate some section, start adding text, and start iterating in real time with other team members. And that's quite empowering, because within the traditional pipelines and workflows, it would take you long time to get to a tangible result, shareable result that you could share with your teammates, your stakeholders, and other collaborators to get to a better result. As you can see, anyone within this stage, within this space could change the models, apply different colors, or start even adding those. They could start, let's say, using the primitive shapes and adding features to quickly iterate on that. Even we have this brushes that you could start sketching around and improve your design in a way that you think might be better, like suggesting to having another type of lace for this section.
Hi, Andrew. Hello.
Hey, Andrew.
So we had to mute ourselves in VR because we are in Zoom, but probably you can communicate with Victor and between yourself. Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Great. All right. I think we're done in this space. Obviously, we leave this space for you and other creators to join. You could always scan this QR code to download the app. And obviously, this is the code to join this specific space and play with these stuff. But Inga, if you don't mind, we could go to the next slide and talk about the more kind of storytelling of ShapesXR.
Yeah. So Andrew, could you mute yourself? I'm sorry, we have to mute ourselves in VR. It's on the left controller microphone button. On the left control. Yeah, it's just because we are in Zoom and that's why there is but once in VR, we can really experience that amazing spatial sound. So guys, if you go to the lobby, I don't know if you had a chance to complete the interactive onboarding, but to go to the lobby, probably while I'm searching for the next space code, Mo can tell you how to go to the lobby, and I'll be waiting for you there.
All right, so on your left-hand controller, if you press the hamburger menu icon, you see a list of tools, and at the end of this list, there's a home icon, so by pressing on that, you could go back to the lobby. And when you're in the lobby, you could start creating your new spaces, join the spaces that the code has been shared with you, going through tutorials, or even exploring the gallery and samples that are provided for you. So let's go to the final space that we prepared for you. Inga, if you want, I could read out the code for you.
I'm already in, so.
Perfect.
So hello.
So this is stage. Hello. This is stage has been created with imported model. As you can see, we wanted to showcase how high fidelity you could go and you could push your stuff. Obviously, iteration doesn't mean always low quality and low fidelity. You could always go further. And this is the example. Inga, Back to
Yeah,
you.
so this is an example. I mean, right now, most of our users are creating VR or AR experiences. So this is the example of an AR thing. So, and we have to kind of rethink the environment. So this is an imported model of some, you know, more, if you scale yourself to become like very big and the space to be very small, as people only see how you are doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, so you see, this is an imported model as is. So you can import it and then start building your AR UI on top of that. So if you go back to this room, and of course, so with the pass-through and with mixed reality, we can start building our AR experiences just on top of the actual environments, actual rooms. But for now, we are kind of representing our living room with this model. And the whole idea was like, let's see and let's ideate on the future of streaming services when we can consume that on TV. We can have this infinite screen for AR, or like advertisement AR app when we, while like watching some streaming, we have some Adidas shoe happening in front of our eyes, modeled in gravity sketch. I mean, if more, you can then show that stages experiences. So let's assume I'm the user and this is the actual room, and everything else is augmented layer. So something that we can only see in our AR glasses or AR headsets. So yeah.
Yeah,
if
I'm
you go
flicking
to
through this stage. Yes, I'm stage 2, going to
you're on
stage number
stage
3.
2. We're still on stage 1. I'm so sorry about that. So you see, we can then ideate on that. And this is exactly the same model that we imported. And this is how you can also pitch your own design for the brands. And you can create amazing models, again, in Gravity Sketch or other tools. But then you want to actually pitch and to do that for myriads of different platforms, including this AR application, though you can import it here, and then it's really in VR you feel that you can only see this in augmented layer. So, and then stage number 4, you see how we show the kind of layers of this design and kind of go deeper into it. And then we have the interface to interact with our augmented layers here. So, and then, yeah, so we have 6 stages here. So probably more you can kind of go from 1 to 6 again to show how the storytelling is evolving.
Let's say from the perspective of sitting on this couch, you are looking at your shelf, you put on your AR glasses or whatsoever and flick through and work with the interface. So it gives you another level of fidelity. It gives you a bit of a more context. So rather than just presenting the actual object, you will give it a context, you will add a story level to that and make it more presentable.
Yeah, so this is an example of AR. So as you have seen, it's all about like building it together, co-creating in real time, actually, co-creating this 3D stuff. It can be up to 12 people doing that all together. Yeah, so we still have time left, and I just want to make sure that there are no questions that we have to kind of respond to. And if there are no questions, then we continue probably and like go to some other example. We still have, I think, 15 minutes left. So
we have one question that is not necessarily connected to these that you're showing right now, but it says, when creating characters and clothes, is it better for importing reasons to use surface tool for clothes and primitives for bodies, or does it matter? Say, for instance, if I want to create a game character, I'm not sure if this is meant for you guys or for.
Yes, I think it's probably from the previous talk or for Gravity Sketch. Yeah, so I mean, we have some kind of library of different characters, and what we plan, Mohammed can show right now, but it's again just like to use some references for human scale, for like how interactions can happen for AR type of apps. The next thing we plan to have this, like we do in Tvori, the character that you can pose, and we also have examples when you can actually build some parts in Gravity Sketch and import here. Posing characters is very important with some, let's say, skeleton in it. But yeah, so probably that is not about that question, but we decided also to highlight that you can always find the user representation in shapes for that. Yeah. So if there are no more questions, so I think we can go to the next, let me say, to the next space, and also tell the codes to the friends who joined us, and I will tell you the numbers. So another example of the AR app that has been probably is a good example to show how the AR app might look like, and it's all in 3D. So Victor and more, if you don't mind to share me, I'm ready to type the code. It's 118792. And if anyone else is also ready to join, then you can join. So given that this metaverse thing is really hyping, hi Andrew, thanks a lot for joining again. So given that this metaverse thing is, oh, we have Fortis, hello Fortis, we have, thank you friends for joining, yeah. So given this metaverse is evolving, Andrew, you will have to mute yourself, I'm sorry, because we're in Zoom. Yeah, so it's important also to prototype for augmented reality. And this is an example of an AR app for the augmented layer for your kitchen stuff and recipes. So I think you can go from stage 1 to stage 6, and more can also stream this for our users. And something like this can be built within a matter of 20 minutes. I mean, there are no imported kind of models. It just built all from primitives, but this is type of rapid prototyping we are referring to. So you can assemble your, you can kind of visualize your idea within minutes, and then you can kind of exactly know what will be visible in your augmented reality hardware. And this is like an example of, let's say, how an AR app for the kitchen could, like AR recipe, probably the best way for that to call it. Yeah, and then you can, but in the same time, Fortis and Andrew and everyone, I mean, you can kind of build something together. You can destroy this space and do stuff and color it. I mean, it's really about real-time co-creation. So, I mean, probably later on we have interactive onboarding so that you can really feel comfortable. Yeah, but you see that we can change it all together in real time. And right now, more show some gizmos too. Yeah. The error is high, Brad, but the error is only because of us being also on Zoom. But when you are in VR and talking in VR, you will enjoy the spatial sound and all the beauty of it. Yeah. So, like Ellie, Brad, Fortis, can you introduce something to our space here? Brad, I'm sorry, given that we are on Zoom, could you mute yourself with a microphone on the left controller? Sorry about that. It's about combining different realities like Zoom and VR and all that together. So, okay, we see that people start creating and introducing some stuff. There are also mesh strokes for you to decorate the space. So Mo, you can definitely unmute yourself. I mean, like in Zoom, if you want to comment.
Yeah, I think I am on mute.
Okay. And so what we do, we can color it all together. We can change materials in real life, kind of in real time. Yeah. And if you want to export stuff, so probably Morgan tell how to get this unique code that we keep sharing with each other. So whenever you want to share your creation, you go to the menu, you see this share button. Yeah. exactly, menu, share, and then you get this unique code that you can share with your friends. And as long as they know this code, they can join you in Space and you start building stuff together. Important that you also can share this and generate unique web links. So you can also share this via web. Yeah, so, and then in web, you will have, it's running on any laptop or PC. And then you still have this immersive presentation via web. Yeah, and there is also Unity plugin if you want to share that. And probably given that I don't know, we can also add stages together. Like if you want to get another dimension, like 3D slides modeling, we can duplicate stages and build more stuff together. So let me see if any questions. I mean, Daniela, should I check any questions in chat, or it's you will read us if there is something coming?
I will read them if there is anything coming. We have 10 more minutes, so everyone in the audience, if there's anyone that wants to ask a question, you can type it on the chat, or you can raise your hand and you can say it out loud. There's one here. Do you guys have like a presentation mode where it's just one person that can interact with the space while showing the scene?
Yes,
that's a great question. That's a great question, and something that we have not shown here, and probably this is not the best space to show, but definitely we have to show this kind of viewpoints and immersive things. So let me share another space where we can go right now to show this viewpoint.
I think it's all right to show the viewpoints here as well. As you can see on my left-hand controller, this on the thumbstick itself, there's a button that you could press that, and now you're in play mode or presentation mode. As you can see, I cannot see any other avatars. I'm focused on the design, and I'm fixed at the location and a position that the designer or creator have defined for me. If I go back and from the menu, you can see that we could define multiple viewpoints, and that's the viewpoint that someone have defined for me. So when it comes to 3D or spatial experiences, it's necessary to make sure that your creation is being treated or being seen or reviewed from a specific point of view. And this preview mode allows you to make sure people are joining from the right point of view, from the right distance, and not misunderstanding your design. So this kind of play view or preview, it's the beginning of that. We are continuously working on improving the presentation mode, giving rights and more access and presentation kind of, let's say, managing the presentation, muting everyone, asking everyone to follow you and stuff like that. That will be added to ShapesXR very soon.
Yeah, so presentation in VR is very important aspect for us, moving from like PowerPoint slides and pitching 3D on flat screen to actually experiencing our design, right, and experiencing our stories. So that's why it's really kind of presentation mode is super important. But right now already with those teleporting through different viewpoints and assigning viewpoints to exact perspective is very important. I mean, yeah, so
and remember,
thank you to
it's
everyone.
always about having fun. It doesn't need to be super serious. So please have fun, join the free version and explore.
Yeah, and explore the co-creation, because you see we are, I mean, something that I started from, and probably I put my headset off for a second. And by the way, guys, those who joined us in VR, as soon as we mute on Zoom, make sure you unmute here in VR, and we can stay with you for like 10 minutes after our talk, because then you explore this real spatial sound and you jump between different spaces, and we really enjoy, and it's much better sound than in Zoom, I promise you. So you see, I changed my location. I still have the sun at my face. Sorry, Danielle, about this picture. So what I wanted to say is that I told you that when we started developing Tvori, we've been missing tools like ShapesXR. So it's really kind of helpful if you're developing a VR or AR app, a game, and this is like a new dimensional 3D type of content. Because right now we are doing all of that inside here in Shapes. And with Tvori, it took us probably a couple of months to build interactive onboarding, because basically what I had to do, wait for the Unity build from our developer. And then when I checked this Unity build in a headset, I mean, the cost of change was already too expensive and it was not iterative at all. While with Shapes.XR, and I hope you can complete those 3 minutes interactive onboarding, we created entire onboarding, entire kind of UX for it, like on stages here. And then I joined Victor and more for design review, and I just switched stages. And I already kind of experienced that onboarding. So it's really self-proven in terms that it's so much easier to make decisions much faster when you are getting this 3D in motion pitches. And then developers can also join and then open this in Unity and keep their continuous development process from that on. So yeah, we probably have only 4 minutes left. Mo, do you have any closing? And then guys, we will return to you in VR as soon as we quit here. So yeah.
Nothing too major to add. I think we've covered pretty much in the short time that we had, but I'm glad that we had the time to share Shapes.XR with you. As Inga said, Shapes.XR will be available to download from Quest on 11/11, just a few days, and we keep continue working on that. There are loads of plans, loads of features and capabilities on the backlog that are going to be added very soon. Hopefully to see you around.
Yeah, thank you, Mo. And for me, the closing point would be, first of all, I congratulate Gravity Sketch on this conference. It's amazing. And I'm so happy to observe that we are having this kind of VR, fully kind of driven by VR tool like Gravity Sketch these days. It's amazing. It's also something that we believe that, I mean, VR pipeline can be really extended, that you can model in VR, you can sketch in VR, you can create your prototype in VR, and then combining these tools, you can really enjoy this accessibility and friendly interfaces of VR. And only for the last stage of implementation, you can go to implementation engines like Unity or Unreal. But as like we are keep promoting is, we are thinking in 3D, so let's not lose 80% of our ideas while we're trying then go to the pencil and paper. It's really inspiring from use case to use case, but it's such a blast sometimes to ideate differently. So thank you very much. And yeah, so thank you, Danielle. I think we only have 2 minutes left, and yeah, eager to come back to VR to our guests here. We still have them. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, there are a lot of comments around thank you for a terrific demo. So yeah, lots of good stuff. People really definitely loving what you have just shown us. And I think it's just kind of like the beginning, as you said, like to start seeing how these experiences start to shape how we communicate these concepts now in VR.
Exactly. So thank you
very
very much for the invitation. Yeah, and let this become an annual conference. So I hope so.
Definitely. Hopefully next one will be in person. So
that would be cool. Yeah.